Let's take a look at sissy squats. So I'm going to walk you through the progressions from the more beginner version to more advanced variations. So if you haven't done these before, or if you're still finding them challenging, it's really nice to either have um, an elevated platform that you can use, or just some sort of firm structure that you can do. Or actually what works probably the best is to stand next to a wall. So if this is a flat wall, I would put my palm here on the wall for support, just to have that extra um, support that you can use. So I'm going to use this chair here, but the alignment is that the feet are parallel and they're hip distance apart. The motion initiates by me going on top of my toes, so lifting my heels. You don't need to go super high, but it's more of a matter of shifting the weight forward onto the toes as the knees bend. And at the same time, I'm going to shift and extend my hips forward. So the hips go forward, knees go forward. So you can try a couple like this. I'm going to have my hand here for support. Again, shifting onto the toes, bending the knees, knees drive forward, hips drive forward, glutes squeezed. Your chest will be angled here. You can look forward for balance, and then you can bring yourself back. So what the quads are working here, and also the glutes are squeezed, so you can drive and thrust the hips forward. So what you don't want to do, you don't want to bend at the hips. This is kind of the point of sissy squat, where we want to really extend the hips forward. So not here, really squeeze the glutes, thrust forward. Yeah? So, and we can go lower. So I'm going to use the support for now, bend the knees, go forward, come up. I use this support, again, it was nice because it gave me that confidence. A nice analogy to think of is, let's say there's a cold river in front of you, and you want to dip just your knees into the river. You just want to kiss the cold water in the river, just dip it slightly. You don't want anything else to touch, right? So you want to really drive with the knees forward and towards this river in front of us. Again, so I'll go a little bit lower this time. And maybe I can even just kiss and come back up. Another thing you could do actually is to put a block underneath both knees, or even one knee, just so you can maybe go down, just bump, touch, and come back up. So this is a really nice way. And then once you get comfortable with this, we can put this support away, or get away from the wall. We can still use a block, but the main thing here is that we have to rely on the balance without any support. So it's the same concept, where I go onto the toes, shift the knees forward. I can use my arms for balance on the side as I go down, maybe a touch, and come back up. So it's just a little kiss. So if you're using it with a block, you don't want to dump all your weight. You don't want to fall into that river. You just want to be able to have enough control where you just kiss and then bring yourself back up. That's really juicy and important. So this is going to be a really nice progression for you, just having some sort of elevated platform to touch and come back up. And eventually we could go lower. And it's not a necessity to touch the ground. It's actually quite hard to touch, bam, and then come back up. That's quite juicy. So just go any amount down, come back up by itself is really amazing. One variation I really like, and I recommend you trying it, is to bring the hand behind you, either onto a block or onto a ground. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's say I'm using that block. I'm going to bring it just in line behind my ankle, of the right foot. And then as I go forward, I'm gonna look behind me, try to reach for this block, and then press back up. Initially, you might just find your fingertips here and come up, but I would love for you to actually connect your palm, find a good support there, push into it and come back up. So watch. I'm gonna bring my palm into it. I have a good amount of weight right now here, and then I'm gonna push back up all the way. Again. I can look at it, push, come up. If I wanted to do it without the block, I'll do it on this side. It will be the same thing on the ground. I'm still extending, I'm not dropping. I'm extending, I'm pressing into the ground, a little bit bend in the elbow, and then I'm gonna push, use the strength of my legs to come back up. One more time. I can look behind to where I'm touching, push, whoa, come back up. Of course, these kind of balance falls always happen, and totally fine. That's it. Play with the different variations and see which one feels juicy for you. I do recommend, especially if you're working on bridges and backbends and more acrobatic movements, this variation behind us is really nice.